Hi, Gibaud, Gibaud.com, and today I would like to speak about something that more and more people well, hear them speaking, or they tell me, I would like to be a professional photographer, but the initial cost is really too high to start that kind of business. And I completely disagree. Don't rush away if you feel it's not true. Listen to what I have to say and share your opinion. But honestly, this is probably one of the business with the smallest investment you have to do to start it. So let's speak about it. Let's start. First, what I'm going to tell is for really every country. So often I hear people, they read, they comment, and I see they think that in their country is different than the rest of the world. Actually, there's no difference. Obviously, the level may be different, but the attitude is exactly the same. Okay, so don't worry if you feel your country has a big disadvantage compared to others. What I'm going to tell works also for you. Don't worry about that. Okay. Second, we speak about becoming a professional photographer. I'm not speaking about the good or the bad or this typical nag about amateur and professional. This is about business. This is not about if your picture is better as an amateur or better as a professional. This has nothing to do. Obviously, the better you are, great, whether you're professional or not, okay? But this is not the thing, okay? So, most people, they tell us, yeah, but starting to be a professional photographer is so expensive. I cannot afford it. I would love to be a photographer, dedicate myself to photography, but it's too expensive to start with, okay? You realize that they are completely lost on that point. Why? Because they think that you need the best gear to be able to start as a professional photographer. Obviously, if you have a great gear that's better for you, that's great, that's fantastic. But you don't need, it's not compulsory to have it to be able to start. Really, I learned that from my audience. I've got audience in many countries, and I've seen how in Latin America or in Asia or some African countries where the economy is not as great, they still make great job with entry-level cameras. They work, they live, they can give food to the whole family and live great with photography with what in Europe or in the US we call basic cameras or beginners cameras. They use them as professional and they make money out of it. So obviously in France, for example, I'm from France, if you go with a beginner camera, they will look at you like this. But in France, they pay a lot more for a service, so you can have a better camera. And if your country, you don't get as much money, you can start with a more modest camera. So don't worry, you can start with what you can afford. Don't think about your dream camera. Think about the one you can afford and that makes sense for the business. So what is the strict minimum gear you need? You need two camera bodies. Why two? Because if one fails or fall on the floor, you must be able to carry on working. It doesn't mean it happens during a wedding. It may happen at night at home, but the next day you need to do a job and maybe it takes a month to get a new camera or 2 weeks and you lose the job and this is your bread, okay? So it's so important you have two camera bodies. From my opinion, I think it's better to have exactly the two same cameras because you get the same image quality. If anything happens, you don't have to think, the setting is the same, the buttons are the right place, same place, everything. So you don't have to think and keep working without any problem, without delivering a different image quality to your client. So if you can afford it, get, if it's possible for you, get the same camera bodies, okay? They don't need to be new, okay? They can be second-hand and start with that. You also need to have enough batteries, enough memory cards. You cannot tell your clients, wait for a second, I have to charge a battery to carry on, or I have to erase some picture from the card because it's full, I don't have any other cards. Obviously, you need them. Regarding lenses, there are different policies. Some people will prefer prime lenses, others will prefer zoom lens. In any case, you need to have replacement, a backup. If you have a zoom lens, have a second zoom lens, or you camera kit lens or prime lens as a backup. If you use two prime lenses, let's say for wedding, many years I was using 35mm and 85mm. The ideal thing would be to have a backup of each, but maybe you cannot afford it because the idea is to go on a strict minimum. But then get a 50mm as a backup for both. So it means that, yeah, it's not perfect, but you can save the situation. If your 35mm falls on the floor and you only have the 85mm to finish a wedding, that's really complicated. Okay, so you see, you need to have backup lenses. So get 2-3 lenses. You also need a computer. Obviously, the faster, the better the computer, the less time you will spend editing or developing RAWs. This is the ideal situation. But if you're on a strict budget, maybe the computer you already have is okay for that. Or maybe you can think of a tablet. Many people edit the photography with a tablet. So the better, faster you will go, okay? But it doesn't mean you need to have a really expensive computer to start with. You also need to have a hard drive or SSD to be able to have space for your pictures and also contract cloud to have a backup. All this, you need this. You probably need some lighting gear, a Cobra flash, for example, or LED light or whatever. Even if maybe you think you will not need it, you need to at least have one source of light in some situation that will save you. I remember making many weddings. I never used flash at that time, and one day luckily I had one with me because they put the place in the completely dark and just laser lights, okay? And if I didn't have this flash, I couldn't have made the picture of the party after the wedding. So you need some lighting. If you look at it, you can actually start with 2,000 to 3,000 euros to have gear to be able to be dedicate yourself as a professional to photography. That's a lot for some people, that's much for others. Some people will say, you're crazy, it's not possible to start with this. Depends where you are. If you're a place where money is not as much of a problem, maybe you can spend more and start with things that will be better for you, okay? But in many places you can start with this or less. But what's really important, if you decide to be a professional photographer, depending on the country where you are, you have some state obligations, tax, social security, or whatever. It's so important you don't neglect this. I see many people, they start as a professional, they don't do what they have to do with the legal side of it. And obviously, if you're good, you're going to bother some people. Your competitors will not be happy. And it's really likely that if they're aware you're not paying your taxes or you're not legally in activity, they will report you. And then that will be a big problem for you. Heavy fine, maybe you'll have to stop, or in some countries you may even go to jail. So it's so important. Don't neglect this part. You need to be legally in activities because you don't want to be a professional for one day or for a week. You want to be as long as possible, maybe many years, maybe forever, maybe, at least several years. So organize yourself from day one to be legally in activity. In some countries, you don't need to do much. You don't have to do much. You just declare your income and for the taxes, and that's it. Others, you have to do more things. So check depending on the country where you are. So you can start the business with that. Now let's compare to other businesses. By the way, if you wanted to help me, I've got affiliated links in the description. Please use them, that really helps me. And if you wanted to buy Luminar Neo or Aperture by Skylum, with the code ERIC10 you get 10% discount. 10% on top of any offer they have. You still paste the code, it's even cheaper for you. I also have ERIC20 on K&F website where you can find accessories like all the accessories by K&F Concept, tripod, filters, all this and more brands. You get 20% with ERIC20. So use it, that really helps me and that helps you too. So thank you so much. Let's carry on. Because when I hear some people telling that it's too expensive to start being a photographer as a professional, let's check other businesses. Oh, and second, I was forgetting. I speak about a business as a photographer where you can live out of it. I don't speak about living with your parents, the camera you got was a gift for Christmas, and you make photo shoot of friends on the beach or at a party, and you think you need to live out of that. No, I speak as a professional to make it as a sustainable business, and you can make money to be able to live and grow and pay your rent and car and family, okay? I don't speak about playing being a professional, I speak about being a professional. So now let's look at other businesses. Many businesses, you need to have some university degree or kind of diploma, all this to be an activity. In some countries, in France, for example, to be a hairdresser, you need to have a special degree for that. In Spain, you don't need it. Others, if you wanted to be a lawyer, you will need to study in university. If you want to be an architect or whatever, most professional activities, you need to have a degree on electrician and mechanics, all this. So for photography, most countries don't ask anything about that. Other many businesses, you need to have a special license to be an activity. Photography, in many countries, you don't need anything special. Most of us, as photographer, we don't need to have premises. We don't need a public office. I mean, here we have office at home, but you don't need to necessarily to have a local where people can come, a shop. You don't need that most of the time. Well, some people have, but you don't always need that. Most business, they need this. If you have a baker or a restaurant, you need some space to be able to have your activity. And we don't need that. And when you need a special place, normally you have to spend some guarantees, bank guarantees, all this for the rent, all this. You also need to decorate the place, to prepare it, to accommodate it as good as possible. Not just for being nice, but also for safety, for security, all this. That's a lot of money. And if you look at equipment, machines, we speak about a couple of cameras and lenses and computer, 2,000 to 3,000 euros or US dollars investment. But if you speak about like a bakery, they need the oven, the this and that, the shop, the windows. That's a lot of money. If you want to be a mechanic, the thing that to lift your car, that's really a lot of money. That's a lot. Yeah, a big investment, or to change the tires, all this. That's a lot of money. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It's a lot more money than what we spend to start. We can work on our own. Just me, and that's it. There are so many businesses. You need some employees. You cannot be on your own. A dentist, they need to study many years, have a big investment in a chair, this, and premises, everything. But also, you need some employees. You cannot be touching my tooth here and making it right, and someone rings at the door and go there and give an appointment for whatever day. You cannot do both. You need an employee that does that. And many other businesses, you cannot be on your own. You need some employees. And when we need someone else, let's say I'll go and do a wedding, I want a second photographer, I will pay for his service just for that day. Next day, he's not an employee anymore. He was not even an employee on that day. It was a provider. He was actually providing his services or her services that day. I pay for it, and that's it. So this is a good point. We don't have stocks. Yeah, I see the fruit and vegetable shop in my street. The woman, she has some stocks. She doesn't even know if she will sell all the fruits or all the veggies. And we don't have that problem. So when you look at it, we are so lucky. Most businesses, you need at least 20, 30, 40, 50, a lot more, 1,000 euros or US dollars to start with. And we don't have that amount of money to spend to start as a photographer. Obviously, if you have 100,000, 200,000, you can do something so beautiful, so great, so everything you want. Doesn't mean you will make money, but yeah, you can spend a lot more. But if you don't have much money, you can still start. There are many other businesses. You want to be a hairdresser, just a chair, just this. You cannot start. It's a lot more than this, okay? But why so many people fail despite this possible small investment to start with? Because many photographers that don't seem to understand that being a good photographer is important, but being a good entrepreneur is even more important, because your pictures may be beautiful, but if you don't know how to manage a company, even if the company is just you, if you don't know how to manage administration, cost, many things, prices, you will probably go bankrupt just because you don't know about business. You know about photography, but you don't know about business. If you don't know how to sell your services, sell yourself, you may be a great photographer. But if no one contracts you because you don't know how to explain why they should contract you, because you're good, because you do this, you do that, then they will probably contract someone else who is better at selling himself. So you need to understand that. Many other people, they know how to sell themselves, they know more or less how to manage a company, but they make a massive confusion between profit and income. 1,000 euros or US dollar come in, I feel that's for me. No, this money is not yours. A third is for the investment, to cover the investment, initial investment, be able to replace what you've bought and change cameras or better your gear, all this in time, the production cost, the petrol money when you've been to a client and all this. You have at least a third is for that. Another third is about taxes, social security, legal things. And what's left? That's for you. That's third, it's for you. But that third could be from 0 to something. But let's say it's a third, okay? So you're happy, you get it, you spend it, you're happy, okay. But what's about next month? If next month it doesn't go as good, you don't have this third for you, and you start getting a bit of money out of the replacing gear, taxes, all this. You're going to go bankrupt. You're just digging you're just caving your grave. So it's so important to understand that. So many people, they fail because of this. And also, they don't plan. Yeah, you start a business, it's not here forever. We have gear that will need to be replaced because they're getting old, maybe obsolete, but not. I mean, the picture you made 10 years ago with this camera, you can still do them today. But still, they may fail. Or maybe you want to optimize your gear so you work faster or more efficient, or you give a better quality to your clients. So you need to plan to grow, not just start today and that's it. And also, many people, they don't know about analyzing cost. And this is where they go bankrupt. Most people, when they start photography, they don't speak with another photographer that have been 10, 12, 20, 15, 30 years in business. They're on Facebook, they speak with other people like them, they start to be a professional photographer, and they look at what they do and they say, oh yeah, I do a photo shoot and I charge 50 euros. Okay, I'm going to charge 50 euros then. But that person doesn't tell you one thing. It's not a business for him. He calls himself professional, but actually lives at his parents' place. He doesn't have any cost. His food is paid by his parents. The camera was given to him at Christmas, and 50 euros for him, or 50 US dollars, is 100% profit. But for you, no. Maybe these 50 euros that don't even cover the cost of operating your business. That means that, let's say, every time you sell something for 50 euros, you lose 10 euros. After 10 photo shoots, you've lost 100 euros. That's a big problem. You think you're making money, actually you're losing money. So it's so important you analyze cost, because if you don't analyze operating cost, you cannot put the right price. I know some people will say, yeah, but I cannot put the price of a photo shoot at 100 euros if all my competitors are doing the same thing for 50 euros. You're right. But if you make them 50 euros, then you lose money. So maybe that type of photography is not good for business, and you have to forget about it. As an amateur, you do the pictures you want, the pictures you like to do. As a professional, you must make the picture that make you money. Because, let's say, you love to do a photo shoot of your neighbors and friends and all this, and it's great, and you feel that everyone will pay you a photo shoot. That's not the way it works. Maybe when you put 100 euros, this is what you need to make money. they will not pay that anymore. Maybe it's better to go and do product photography for a company close to where you are or whatever. And maybe you don't like to do product photography, but that's the way it is. As a professional, there are some things you love to do and things you don't like as much. But until you're famous for what you like to do, you have to do other type of photography maybe you don't like too much. And that's important. You must be prepared for that. Still try to do your best, put interest, do as good as best as you can, even if it's not your favorite type of photography. And this is something you must understand. As an amateur, you do what you want. As a professional, you do what makes you money. Otherwise, you will go bankrupt. So this is so important you understand that. If you analyze cost, you will see things that make you money and things that make you lose money. So it's so important to check that. And also, it's very important to think about prices. I see so many people, they lose money just when putting the price because they think about their competitors instead of thinking about what's possible, okay? And yes, accept it. There are some type of photography that make you lose money and you don't want to make them. From time to time, maybe as a favor, but otherwise you don't want to make them. Also, you need to optimize your way of working. As an amateur, it doesn't matter if it takes me 3 weeks to edit my raw files and prepare my pictures. As a professional, you must be efficient. I see some people, they start making portraits and they say, oh, in the package I include 10 pictures. So I'm going to edit and retouch 100 pictures and the clients will pick the 10 he likes. What? You're going to retouch 100 pictures and he's going to pay for 10? No, that's not the way it works. You pick yourself the 10 you feel are the best to show your work and for your clients. And you edit these pictures. If you don't want to do it this way, you have your client standing next to you. You see all the unedited pictures. He tells you which one he would like to have edited and you do this one. But you're not going to spend hours and hours on 100 pictures when you're going to sell only 10. Let's be logical. If we speak about wedding photographers, when we were doing film photography, I still do film photography, by the way, not for weddings, okay? I do mainly digital, obviously. Wedding photographers, they would make an album with 50 or 80 or 100 pictures. They would pick it themselves and that's it. So when they started to do digital, it was so easy to click, 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 at no cost. No cost, well, yeah, you have a basic cost, but it cost per picture is not the same, obviously. And then they make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 pictures, and then they spend a week or two picking the 80 or 100 pictures they want in the album. 2 weeks for that? Are we crazy? Before they used to make 150 pictures and pick 80. Now they make 3,000 and they pick 80. That's crazy. So when I started to do digital wedding, it was so clear to me from first day. I said, no, I don't mind giving 1,000 pictures to my client. That made, I don't care. Okay? But what I'm not going to spend is 2 weeks picking pictures. So what I do, I've got my 2,000 picture, for example, I will eliminate bad exposure, strange things, technical failure. And if out of that there are 1,000 left that are good, there are 1,000 left. I will retouch the close portrait and the couple portrait and that's it. At the party, I'm not going to retouch each face on the party, that's crazy. And I will do that. And if then the client wants a printed album, I'll let him pick the 80 pictures he wants in the album. Do the job, but I'm not going to do it. Obviously, this is the way I work. There are many other ways of looking at it. What's important is you find a way for you that works for you. That is you don't consume as much time, it's efficient and you make money. If you don't do it this way, you're likely to go bankrupt, okay? And something many people forget, that's so important. Yes, it's true, in most countries they don't ask you to have a university degree to be a photographer. Does this mean you don't have to train yourself? Does this mean you must not go to courses or follow some workshop or read books or read or see videos. You need to train always to be prepared and be better. Because if you don't better your level, others will do, and are your competitors. And why should I pay you $100 for that pictures if this guy there does the same thing for 50? If you're going to charge twice more, you need to be twice better, twice as good. Otherwise, there's no reason to contract you. So don't forget that. It's not because you say, I'm a professional photographer, that you don't need to train all your life. Try to be better in better everything, your technique, your knowledge, all this. And with time, you will end up, if everything goes well, making money, making the pictures you like to make and not asking any job, okay? Yes, I know, there are some kind of picture we don't like to make. Other we love to make, and depends on each photographer. I've got a friend who is in Valence in Spain. He had to do a glasses catalog, okay? Catalog of glasses, I should say. It was like 1,500 glasses. He set all the lighting. It was like, put the glasses, take it out, next. Boring job for me, okay? Some photographers love to do that, okay? And they will be happy. And when they call them for wedding, they say, oh, they will not be happy to go to wedding, but they still go because that makes them money. It doesn't mean they will not do it well, because if they are professional, they would put interest and put all their knowledge in there to make it good. And other people, they love to do weddings or love to do photo shoot or portrait, and they don't like to do photography. But sometimes you have to accept that there are things you don't like as much, but they make you some money. So, honestly, I hope this video may help you to see first that the initial investment is far, far, far less than any other business. Maybe not every, but most businesses. So if you want to be a professional photographer, organize yourself as a professional. Train yourself, check all the costs, check the investment, try to optimize everything, and don't be afraid, go for it. Obviously you need to be good. You need to be the best in your area, in your city. You need to be really good. But if you put interest, if you want to train, if it's the way you want to make your living, there's no reason why you should not be as good as any other or a lot better. So go for it. But don't forget about this. Plan, train, organize everything, and be professional. So that's it. I hope this video helps you, and thank you so much for watching it. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The small button on here and the small bell. If you click on the bell, we'll get notified when I upload a new video. My website, Gibaud.com. If you have any question, can leave a comment below. Also leave your affiliate links in the description. Please use them. That really helps me. And don't forget, if you wanted to buy Luminar Neo or Apathy by Skylum, with the code ERIC10, you get a 10% discount on top of any offer they have. You still place your code, it's even cheaper for you. And with the code ERIC20, you get 20% discount with Ken Faith. All the accessories by K&F Concept and more brands, you get 20%. Use my code ERIC20. Thank you so much. That really helps me. Also leave you my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.